Hello and welcome to Ascend, the program that brings you the stories of extraordinary individuals whose journeys define leadership, purpose, and resilience. My name is Halima Abdurraouf. And today we shine the spotlight on a leader who represents a generation of visionaries, those who combine intellect with service and passion with purpose. My guest is Dr. Nurudden Muhammad, a distinguished Nigerian who has served as Minister of State, 2 for Foreign Affairs and overseeing Minister of Information for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is a big thing for us at S24 because Ascend brings the best of the best. Known for this nature of intellect and civic consciousness, Dr. Muhammad embodies a blend of political maturity and youthful dynamism, a reflection of what Nigeria's future leadership could be. Join me as we explore this journey through governance, diplomacy, and the continuous pursuit of national transformation. Welcome to Ascend, Dr. Nurudden.
Thank you, Halima.
This is great pleasure because I think from what we discussed before coming on board, it looks like we've got this asset that we need to explore a lot. So let's start with, you've had one of the most unique trajectories in public service, rising to ministerial level for your age, for someone that is a visionary and all of that. This position of such as a young age or at a young age tell us the way this journey shaped who you are. But before all of that, I always like to take our guest through to see where did it all start from? Because this doesn't just start from ministerial position. It's been an ongoing thing. Where did you start from?
Thank you very much for this.
You're welcome, sir.
Very insightful question, I would say. While we're talking off air, you were telling us about your dad, how he was bringing newspapers back home. And so I think my trajectory started there as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, my dad was a school teacher. So, and I would say technically I was the first child. Okay. So I had all the books to play around with. So, and I think during the Second Republic, when Shagari was president, I had all these books where the governors were, I would be reading it, I would be asking him questions. And then through the questions, he would have to explain some stuff to me. And then that's when I started hearing about the Civil War, And then I was very inquisitive, so I downloaded a lot from him. I think that put me naturally ahead of
Your peers.
my peers, because, and I was hanging out around him a lot with his friends, and I was downloading, I think that's how I got my civic consciousness. And quite early, from primary school days, we were precautiously inducted into politics.
From primary school days?
Yes, around primary 5, 6. There were these local politicians who were not literate, and they needed someone to take minutes of their meetings, So they will invite us to come and take minutes.
Wow.
We're like
as far back as
I can remember I was less than 10 years then.
Wow.
Yeah, we were taking minutes, and then naturally we became a team. And the zero-party elections in 1987 during General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida's failed transition experiments, I think that's the first time we started flirting was actually voting.
Wow.
Yeah, so and then 89 came, it was SDP. We were still quite young. We weren't teenagers then, around 12. But we were deeply involved in the SDP and RC politics, from the local level to the state levels, Ironically, my political godfather is former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido. Oh. I can remember 1989, I was in JSS2. That's old Kano. So they came around to launch SDP in Hadeja. We marched along his car all over town,
For real?
And our eyes met, but I was less than 12.
Young boy.
Yeah. So it has been a long journey, and then into medical school, and then you start seeing these problems in reality. You start seeing death, devastation, sickness, poverty, and you start asking yourself, how do you fix this? There's only one way, is to do it yourself. And that's the...
To do it yourself, you need to be in
that's politics, exactly. So some of us were so politically charged that even as medical students, when we speak, elements of politics will
this is a lot.
yeah, elements of politics will pop out, and and then we started writing from a distance. And I think it was through those writings that we were noticed. And that's how...
I think for the first time for me, a medical student or a doctor, and writing and politics, that's a lot. Because now your whole life looks like it's a big circle that is giving in all ramifications. As a medical student or as a doctor, you're giving back to society, whether you like it or not. Then as a politician, who is not just politician, that's trading, because that's the problem in Nigeria.
So I will recall Governor Lamido read one of my articles around 2008.
Okay.
He read me in the newspapers. That time, the social media was not a big thing then. I'm not sure Facebook was very popular around 2008. So he read it in the hard copies.
It was there, but not very popular.
Yeah, not very popular. He read me in the hard copies and thought, wow, this is a wonderful piece. He asked his aides, can you get this person for me? Because he didn't know whether it's a young man or so it's just a person. And after a week of search, they got me. So he invited me to come and meet him. So he was sitting in a room across a sofa. And then when they opened the door and I was ushered in, he looked at me from top to bottom. I was wearing a jacket. I was from the hospital. He said, where do you work? Then I told him I was working at Kano Teaching Hospital in Kano. He said, are you a doctor?
Yes.
Yeah, because as you said, he didn't expect why he read coming. Really coming from a doctor. Yeah. He said, I will not allow you to touch me. Which means he was saying, you're not a doctor. You belong somewhere else, not in the hospital. And that's how our relationship started. Yeah. So yeah, really is contradictory to a lot of people. Indeed. But not knowing that, actually, medicine is essentially, there's a lot of political content to medical training. Yes, and there's a lot of political consciousness to practicing medicine. Because you always meet political problems. You see people dying because they don't have oxygen. You see people dying because they cannot afford medication. Someone walks into the emergency room and you tell them the admission fee is 10,000.
And they can't afford it.
And they turn back and they are going to die. You don't know when. So there's nobody who will be walking around charged political issues like this. So most doctors are politically charged. They may not be politicians, but they are seriously politically conscious and charged. And if you look at history, some of the revolutionary leaders around the world, even the violent revolutionaries, they were doctors. Yeah.
So let's go. You've often been described as both scholarly and pragmatic. In what ways do you bring all of this in terms of your upbringing and education, shape your perspective on leadership, especially in Nigeria's context?
Well, so let me say I started as scholarly because I was an institutionalized person. I trained in medicine up to the postgraduate level, so you're already a scholar, right? And in a way, a university teacher as well. So, but life outside, especially in politics, is reality. So I think that's where the pragmatism came in. And you cannot survive with only scholarly intellectual instincts. That will put you into collision course with the reality. Yeah, so those of us from the academic background, from the universities, from the ivory towers, we are detached from the realities of life. So if you do not have this pragmatism in you, the native intelligence to know. So because we brought up in village, so we know the realities.
We all came from village.
Yeah, so we know the realities. We're provincial boys, so we know what to say and what not to say. Not even saying, we know the gestures that are unacceptable. So naturally, quite naturally, we are scholars because we are. Pragmatism comes naturally as somebody from the provinces.
That's a lot to digest. Many young people see as a bridge between generations. When you look back, what early expectations or experiences molded you and your philosophy as who you are today?
Yeah, so I think my life philosophy is mostly my dad's. Yeah, I think we view life the same way. So I would say there is genetic and environmental. Of course, I told you we're quite close at the mentorship level. So the political philosophies, it started from him because he was in the NEPU PRP. He was a NEPU PRP sympathizer because he was a civil servant. Yeah, he couldn't
join.
Yeah, but he had all the materials, and I read a lot of them there. I started reading Mala Amina Kano when I was less than 7. Yes.
7?
Yeah, 7 years. I started reading Mala Amina Kano when I was less than 7 years. I saw Rimi on a campaign trail in Aoyo in 1983. I was less than 6 then.
1983.
83, yeah. So my life philosophy and political philosophy were from that, And I would say a lot has happened. We have lost the ideological tests and values within the political space. But yeah, the intercourse was so extensive that we haven't lost. Some of us still have the ideological content, even though it's no longer fashionable. You're going to have a lot of trouble.
Can we bring it back?
Yes and no. I hardly say no to things, and I'm hopeful. Otherwise, I would have changed my outlook. I still believe we need the value-driven politics, not of the quality we used to have then, but even abridged version. What we have now is too mercantile, I would say. It's transactional. So there's too much transaction. So we're not saying go back to the old days, but let us negotiate some irreducible minimums. Like, for example, let us educate all our children. Yeah, let us make sure nobody dies because of they cannot afford medicine. Not the big machines, drugs. Yeah, so let's agree that any drug, no matter how expensive it is, if there's a drug you'll give to a human being and they will not die, let us accept that as irreducible minimum. Let us accept that people cannot be killed or herded like cattle. The way you rustle cattle, you rustle human beings now in northern Nigeria. Yeah, so at least
the barest minimum.
Let us have this barest minimum, and then we can do the transactions everywhere else, right? Yeah. So that's the pragmatism and scholarly talking about. Yeah, let us have this. Let us be reasonable.
Of course, reasonable should be the key word. Serving as a Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and also later overseeing Ministry of Information must be like an incredible thing for someone. Foreign Affairs, information, that's a whole lot. What key lessons did those experiences teach you about Nigeria and governance as a whole?
Okay, so yeah, that's quite surprising even to me. when I was told I was be a Minister of Foreign Affairs, I thought I may not be able to handle it. And the person telling me said, well, I know you will do it. You probably will be a good one. You know. So looking at governance from the position of a foreign minister is quite interesting and frustrating at the same time.
Of course.
Yeah, because you have the two templates. You know the local dynamics and then the overriding international dynamics, exactly. So we tend to do things differently because we're aware, but we're conscious, not only aware of the international implications, ramifications, dynamics of everything you do. How the aggregate output of local policies can affect the international balance, and how overriding international force can force a policy direction domestically. So it's quite an interesting and challenging bit, the foreign bit. Of course, the information bit is difficult.
It's difficult, but it's
difficult.
like a steer that you know.
Yeah, it's difficult because there's this look, there's this perception Nigerians have about their information ministers.
Yes.
As okay, so exactly. So and the by and large end of us very infamous, you know. And there I was around 36 and a foreign minister. So a foreign minister is
36.
Yeah, a foreign minister is someone who is measured, you know, who as diplomats we can say a lot and at the end we didn't say anything. So that's far away from being combative. So, and I see some of the foreign ministers, information ministers are combative.
Yes,
you know, so
more combative.
yeah, so I actually behaved more as a diplomat, even as information minister. I remember there was
a negative side to trying to be a diplomat as the Minister of Information?
The traditional information ministers we have had in Nigeria, at least a couple of them, you know, were more of combative.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Me, I was more of trying to set narratives before they even start. Because that's how I think even the president noticed me. Yeah, you can imagine, why would a Nigerian president decide on a 36-year-old medical doctor from foreign ministry to oversee information? There are a lot of there are a lot of hands available.
Yeah,
you know?
not even just that. I mean the gap.
Exactly.
The medical field.
The medical field, exactly.
Diplomatic.
So yeah, but because I worked closely with the president then at the foreign bit, you know, and even domestically, if there are some small meetings, I used to come with innovative ideas about how to control narratives. Or people would be shouting, there is a problem. I'll say, but there wasn't a problem. That's where the problem started. I will point out how the narrative started. So I think that's what the president liked about me. That if I were an information minister, I would be more interested in controlling narratives. I would have anticipated that this could be a narrative, yeah, and then try to, yeah, but I was only there for 4 months. Yeah, I was there between September 2014 to January 2025. Unfortunately, I had to resign to go and contest elections back home.
Oh, would you like to take us through that journey for a bit?
Well, that's politics. We started talking from politics.
Yes, but you can just
so
like moving.
Yeah.
See, 2 ministerial positions and then back to politics. I
politics,
know it's appointment on the ministerial level and politics is more like a combative field.
Yeah, exactly. That's
so transitioning from these 2 places is what.
Yeah, so I have known politics from the theoretical levels. I told you I have been exposed since
age 7
at primary school. Yeah, but this one is a completely different one. I was to contest as a deputy gubernatorial candidate in my state in 2015. So there I was. I resigned from Abuja, went back to Duse in Jigawa. I have not been home for 2 decades, as in...
Present.
Yeah, I have not been a resident in Jigawa for almost 2 decades. Yes, more than 2 decades then, because since I started boarding school in 91, you just a visitor home.
Yeah.
From boarding school, from boarding house, you went to university. From university, you started postgraduate training, you working, and from there I jumped to Abuja. So it was like the first time for me coming back home was no exit date. That was my first time since 1991. Yeah, so I had a lot of adjustments to do. And that's where my provincial outlook helped me. Yeah, because how do they say it in Pidgin? We control this side. They say something. Now we play this. Now we decide. So as a provincial boy, nothing do you, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and then we had this campaign for 4 months. And a lot of people in the campaign team were surprised. Doctor, I never told you know this. I'll tell you, do you know where I was born? You know, do you know where I was born? You know? Yeah, and that brings people close to you. Yeah, you know, we campaigned for 4 months non-stop, you know, and we lost the election, but I made progress.
Yeah. An impact as well.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, because for people to know that you know some certain things that not really in your place.
Importantly, they have known that I'm as provincial as anybody can be. It doesn't matter you see me blowing grammar in United Nations. It's Najas. When it comes to the real grassroots, no one can
beat you.
Yeah, no one can claim. And I may not look, I may not sound, but once you touch, yeah, you will say, wow, this one is our own. You know. So that was my first big advantage, to connect. To
the grassroots.
Yeah, for the people to know you are really born, bred, and connected there. And immediately after the elections, that's when I started my foundation, because I have seen a lot of problems to address, which perhaps government, that's what one will concentrate on. Oh, so now we have lost the elections, yeah, but I have this political energy, as I told you. You know, we have to do something. We have to continue to mobilize people around what our values are. You know, and our values are those of education, health, you know, economic empowerment, environmental sustainability, critical cultural reforms, you know.
Critical.
Yeah, critical, because culture is so big. You cannot say you reform culture. You just speak. Yeah. So one of my preoccupation in my obsession, that's the right word, in cultural reform is women empowerment. So I'm a male feminist, kind of.
I'm a male feminist.
Yeah,
feminist. Okay, I think for today we found another male feminist.
Yeah, because when you get the medical knowledge and you practice medicine, you can't help but be a feminist. Not feminism in the negative sense. I don't know what that means. Yeah, but feminism in the sense of educating, empowering women. As much as you empower a man, empower a woman. In fact, I've become so committed that if I must choose between educating a boy and a girl, I'll choose the girl. And that is consistent with our religious values, just that we are inconsistent in applying the religious, we cherry pick. Yeah, I think it's an authentic narration of the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he who educates a woman
educates a nation.
Yeah, we are all brought up by
women.
Why am I now? My kids are with their mother. So, yeah. And they are more, I think they are more loyal.
Women.
Yeah. So if a woman has resources.
Super proud.
Yeah, if a woman has resources, her children will definitely benefit from. does, much more than if it's the father who has the resources, because she's not picking a new husband. Well, she may
decide.
There may be a few ones, yeah, but if a woman gets extra resources, her concern is to invest that in the family. Unlike most men, you know, so I have this consciousness of women empowerment, and this is something that we can really negotiate as a people, as Muslims, you know. There is rich tradition within the religion, from the holy prophet himself, you know, his wife Aisha is a scholar in her right, you know, all the profuse hadiths she has, that's scholarly, that's more than a professor's output, to his daughter, you know. And then coming home to Sheikh Usman Danfodio, his daughter Nana Asmau, right? Yeah, it's an intellectual of note, global standing. So we have these admonitions of the prophet. We have his practice. Coming home, just 200 years ago, we have this good example to place, how women can be empowered and how impactful that can be. So I think this is something that as a people we can sit down and actually negotiate. That look, hey, empowerment and marriage, they are not related.
They aren't.
Yeah, you know, in fact,
all depends on
the more empowered families are more stable. You know, so these are conversations that my vision of a society is where there is dialogue between the Western educated people, the so-called Mboko, I don't believe in that word, the religious clerics and the policy makers and the traditional institutions. I believe if you bring these three together, they know that the direction we're taking is wrong. No matter how denying someone can come off to be, the direction of the Muslim northern Nigeria is a shipwreck. We're heading towards a shipwreck. We are in a shipwreck already. It's just that we're in a bomb blast situation. Just that if the shrapnels have not touched you, yes, but you have had the
So
bomb.
You can just literally say a ticking time bomb.
The bomb has exploded.
Oh.
No, that's my analysis. The shrapnels might not have touched us yet, but we have had the sound of the bomb. Yeah, because a lot of people in northern Nigeria now have contributed money to free kidnapped victims.
Yes.
So which ticking bomb?
Yeah, it's already exploded.
Yeah, it has exploded. We have had the sound. It hasn't reached us yet, alhamdulillah. We must contain it. So if our direction is, we believe is wrong, these bandits, these kidnappers, this Boko Haram, we believe they are our children. They are. The kids stabbing people in our cities. So in the bush you have the bandits, the kidnappers.
In the city.
In the cities you have thugs killing brilliant people, you know, for cell phones. So if we believe these are our children, we bond them, we train them, whether we like it or not, then we need to change direction. For us to change direction, we must renegotiate the society, the value system. We have to recalibrate education and the inculcation of the right religious values will have to take center stage.
Yeah, so I think we've got a walking encyclopedia in the studio today, and I keep listening because I know it's taking me somewhere and somewhere, and there's a lot to talk about. In your view, as Nigeria is, and if you bring it down to northern Nigeria, what are those key things, apart from women empowerment, apart from maybe using a foundation to change the narrative, what are those key things you think, in a nutshell, if we bring them together, would take us out of this situation that we're in? Because if you look at it, the number of out-of-school children, the largest is in northern Nigeria. Poverty rates, northern Nigeria. Lack of education is northern Nigeria. Like economic downturn, it's just too many to mention. What are those key things that can change our narrative?
Yeah, so when you say education, poverty, you mean globally, right?
Yes, it's a global thing, but if you trickle it down to Nigeria, then make it back to
so which means it's a very serious problem.
It is.
If a particular region in a particular country has the world's worst statistics in out of school children, in poverty,
multidimensional
illiteracy levels, in maternal death, malnutrition, child death, child poverty, child vagrancy, adult destitution. That's another problem that we don't talk about.
Yes.
There's adult destitution everywhere.
Everywhere.
You see our people begging everywhere, adults. So this is what I'm talking about at the beginning. We have to renegotiate the corrective outputs, right? There are corrective institutions in each society. Schools, clerics, traditional institutions. Even before you start government, these ones are the corrective institutions, from family to schools to. So we have to educate people. And what our clerics preach, we have to change priority about what we preach. I think telling someone from Kano to pray or not take alcohol is hitting a dead horse. That line of preaching has expired. I don't think there's any place on earth with as much concentration of mosques per square meter in the world like Kano. I grew up in Kano. I did university in Kano. I've never seen alcohol. I'm telling you. I did secondary school in Kano. I did university. In campus, I have never seen alcohol. So I did postgraduate. And my university in 10 years old. My undergraduate, I was in university for 10 years. I've never seen alcohol in my life.
Because of strike?
Yeah, because of strikes. Yeah, strikes. Yeah, strikes and other local issues. So, which means our preaching should preach we should put our mouth why there's this preaching. You should put your mouth where you are. Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. So we should look at our problems.
Yeah.
Right? We have problem of child destitution, adult destitution, poverty, illiteracy, death, and so on. Nobody stops death, but we can stop women from dying when they are giving birth, and the children. They are not dying like that in Saudi Arabia. They are not dying like that in Malaysia. They are not dying like that in Indonesia. They are not dying like that in Sudan, in Egypt. All these are Islamic societies. So these corrective institutions, the clerics, the traditional institutions, and the government coming to education, for me, having this discussion and agreeing on what both institutions will take as irreducible minimum, our Friday sermons, our admonitions, our wa'azi, our everything should be focused on the responsibility of a father on his child as far education is concerned, as far health is concerned, as far feeding is concerned. Otherwise, don't even get married. That's a religious injunction. If you cannot afford, don't get married. Not even child, the marriage itself is not necessary. Not that,
because once you get married,
and this is incontrovertible. There's no controversy in the religion about your responsibility on your family. If you go to these countries who like to copy as Muslims, before you marry, you have to be signed out that you have fulfilled this criteria. So we must be able to have this control, because we're essentially an Islamic society where religion drives the culture. So we should be able to refocus the fire of the preaching to target our immediate problems.
So one of the problems of Nigeria, especially in northern Nigeria, is also population explosion. And you've mentioned things around for every parent. I mean, every person that wants to get married, they should put it at the back of their mind that they are responsible for those kids. And as a religious, not godly society, because I feel like we're religious, but we're not really godly society, in what ways do you think we can preach to people to do family planning? I'm not meaning someone should not give birth, but like in Turkey, if you take a look in Turkey, before, like you said, before you even think of getting married, there are some criteria you need to meet to say, okay, you've got plans for your future kids and stuff like that. In what ways can we educate our people in this regard to understand that responsibility falls on you immediately you decide to start giving birth.
So I can see how you are trying to be politically correct. Even asking the question, just so that it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
And that's one area where we feel strongly about when you say population control or how population can be a problem. Somebody will tell you China is 2 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so it's not population that is problem.
Okay.
It's dependency ratio that is a problem. China is more than 8 billion, but the dependency ratio is one of the least in the world. They had this one-child policy for decades. So dependency ratio is very low. Our own is not population, it's dependency ratio. It's me having 20 children. So we're not talking about, now you're asking me perhaps the material aspect. We're not even talking of the emotional aspect. I don't have the emotional resources to look after 20 children because my emotional reserve is not limitless. Somebody may have. You know, so you must have the material, psychological, emotional, and even spiritual resources.
And physical.
And physical as well to maintain. So now we're talking about control. So that's what I said. That's where our problems are. And the religion has clear guidelines on how to control all these issues. If you have first wife, you want to marry another one, go to Saudi Arabia or Egypt and ask them how they do it. Yeah, nobody's stopping you from marriage, but there will be guidelines. The family unit is a production line of human being, right? It's a production line. We have production line for shoes, for cell phones, for cars, for aeroplanes.
Well, many products that we use.
So family unit is a production line of human beings, which means it's the most important production line. And we control all these production lines, but we don't control the production line of human beings. That's where our greatest problem comes from. I'm of the belief that, I will go back to our conversation, the corrective institutions, our cultural surveillance system, the traditional institutions, the religious institutions, the intellectuals, the political class, will have to sit down and see how we put our money where our mouth is. I would repeat that. Otherwise, this bomb blast will continue until, God forbid, everyone is affected.
Sad. You're watching Ascend on S24 television, where we explore the journeys of those who inspire change, challenge norms, and redefine leadership for a new generation. Stay with us as we continue our conversation with Dr. Nurudden Muhammad, exploring his vision for service, legacy, and the next chapter of Nigeria's story. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's still Ascend on S24 television. Let's go back to the main conversation. I know we can't really take everything out today because, like I said earlier, we're seated with a walking encyclopedia, so we can't explore all angles, but let's make sure to get the most out of this conversation. And getting back to this, you represent a generation of politically aware young Nigerians who still believe in national transformation. What does the concept of a new Nigeria mean to you personally?
New Nigeria.
Yeah.
Well, I have never used the word, but hearing it now means a renewed kind of country in so many perspectives, right? In an improved way, kind of. Maybe better economy, better security, more infrastructure, more opportunities.
Economic empowerment.
Yes, empowerment. Yeah, that's, to me, that sounds like new Nigeria means.
Okay, I believe that we all want this new Nigeria, and because I would say that you are in the intersection of the youth and not the youth, because According to the UN, a youth should not be above 29 years old, I suppose. But in Nigeria, a youth can be 50 and 60. And you will find that they call someone a youth leader and they're 65 or 70, or we're in a first stop and it's a man leading. So now let's go back to another part that says many young Nigerians, for instance, or people today feel disconnected from politics. What message do you think would you would share with them about participation, patience, and purpose the nation building for us?
Disconnected, yes. I think a lot of Nigerians, okay, I would say people are connected to politics in the sense that they participate in a lot of political conversations, but maybe they are disconnected at the level of practice.
Yeah.
That politics is, for certain, is a rotten kind of
Sector.
buffet,
Or product,
yeah,
or-
that I don't want to touch. Or those who are not politicians, but they will not also participate in the electoral process. They will not vote. That even if I vote, my vote will not count. You know. Yeah, I've always found that a bit disturbing, because if someone perpetually steals your stuff and then you say, well, I will not do anything, that doesn't make sense. Nobody will leave his door open because the thieves will always come in. You always do your best to. So for me, it's because we don't consider the resources as our own. Yeah, that's the disconnection. If we feel there is a certain leadership class that is not doing the right thing, we should keep trying to change that within the available constitutional means. We succeed or we die trying. And those behind us should continue.
I think that's the mantra.
Yeah. So, but I don't know how it happens. And this blame goes both ways. I participated in electoral politics, and if I tell you I'm not a bit frustrated or confused, I will be lying to myself. Sometimes we believe educating people can make them make better choices. Yes, that is true. But to an extent, you find that it doesn't matter. When you look at our electoral system, those who control the electoral system are all educated people. Yeah, from the ad hoc staff, who are now mostly even youth corps members, you know, to the INEC staff, the security staff, the police, the army, and returning officers. Some of them are university professors.
Yes. In fact, people usually say,
Yeah.
if your university professors are being paid to change the return results, they've got no moral right to come to the classrooms.
So for me, it's beyond the classroom. I'm even confused which type of society is this? How education is being really abused. You know, I participated in electoral politics, I would say, and I know how compromised this entire system can be. If people feel their votes don't count, it's because of the actions of people consistently on this chain. There's nobody who rigs elections outside this chain. You know, so I have asked myself that, okay, they say, okay, collect the money. So how much that money will last? It depends on how much you collect, you know, but an educated person should know that bad governance as a result of electoral fraud means much more than money.
Yeah, it does.
It could cost your life, and it does cost life. In fact, as we speak now, people are dying because of bad governance. And don't say I'm a university professor and I live within the comfort of the university quarters in a city, so I don't have problem with bandits, you know. You could be caught up in the road.
Yeah, you could be caught up. Anyway.
You could be rushed to a hospital that is not functioning. Your daughter could be carted away in boarding house. So it beats my imagination, and I'm yet to find the answer to that, actually, to be honest, to how seemingly well-educated people will collect money, and I'll call it peanuts, no matter how much they give you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's peanuts, because bad electoral fraud can lead, is a direct cause of bad governance, and bad governance kills. So yes, I understand people can be frustrated and disconnected, but I think the elites, and when I say elite, I always use the word loosely. Anybody who can read and write and can reason, anybody who has gotten the privilege to read and write and reason within this system is an elite. Yeah. And we can all exert that elitism in our spheres of influence, which are a couple of polling units or a whole political wards or a local government, and change things. Yes, whoever you vote will cheat, will steal the money. So will you then allow the money to continue to be stolen? Yeah, you have to do something. So I think the political consciousness is there. The political disconnection is building up, and is not going to be a good end for our people.
Of course. You've worked with government at various levels. Do you think that, or in what ways do you think the next generation of Nigerian young politicians can make a difference, or they can do something differently?
Okay, I didn't work with government at different levels. I didn't work with government at local government level, but I have worked with government at state level
and even the federal level.
And then
it's different levels.
Yeah, it's different levels. So we're coming back to the same question of the political process and how the system has been monetized and is outrightly transactional, which raises the entry bar for the young people. Because when you talk of resources,
most young people
they don't have. We may have the number, but we are disorganized. We are emotionally not intelligent sometimes. And our attitude to ourselves, it's not only young people. There's peer issues among what they call peer jealousy in psychology. So which keeps us fragmented. So in this sense, we cannot pursue a unified political end, and which makes it difficult for young people to see them occupying positions they would wish to occupy. So my advice is, I will still come back to the issue of participation, how we have to make the resolve to politics as an institution, to be part of the institution, pick the arguments, learn the ropes, follow the process, not necessarily saying that I must get there at so age, but when we're consistent, opportunities come. Most states now, you see a lot of young
persons,
legislators at the National Assembly, at the State Assembly, local government chairman, commissioners appointed, Even at the federal level, there are a lot of young people I've seen appointed to head agencies, even a couple of ministers. So I think our sentiment should be more towards good governance, rather than who is doing what.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, do you believe our democracy is evolving fast enough to reflect the aspiration of young Nigerians?
Wow, that's a bit tough question. I think young Nigerians, what they need is education, economic opportunities, and physical security. So in this broad sense, I would say unfortunately no. Yeah, there's
well, I was expecting that.
Yeah,
of course, because it's encyclopedia, you're trying to find a way.
Because somebody has to look at the realities. I don't think Nigeria's young people are adequately physically protected. I don't think they are provided with the optimum economic opportunities. I don't think they are properly educated. So I remember when we were educated, I was protected as a young man. I could trek from here to Kano.
Yes.
and sleep wherever I felt tired.
And then the communities are here to serve you. The masquerades,
Exactly.
communities,
People will
family.
take you home,
Yes.
but now they will not. They'll
No,
suspect you.
Of
Exactly.
course, even in your family, sometimes
Exactly.
you're like, "Oh, this person should not come to my place because you don't trust what they can do," and stuff like that. It's really
so they're not
bad.
protected. Education. I went to public schools throughout. I didn't only go to public schools. I always like to tell people that I acquired all my education within the old Kano state.
Wow.
And all in public schools. I don't see a lot of that happening now. Yes. And then the economic opportunities,
We're there.
Yeah, I'm a doctor, so when we finish, we were already bonded to work. But I would say even our colleagues who didn't study medicine in the late 90s, the type of opportunities they got.
It's not available today.
Now, it's not even lack of availability, it's the rep of the system. That time you see advert, you apply. There was no telephone,
Connections.
there was no internet. A mail will be sent to your location. But now I don't want to even talk about that.
Not to talk about it because it's really a rape of the system, I
Yeah.
believe. So behind the titles and the public paraphernalias and all of that, who is Dr. Nurudden?
Wow. So I don't have paraphernalias really.
When you were a minister, you
you must have.
Yeah.
But even then I was conscious not to have them because I was more conscious of life after.
Yes. And not everyone thinks about that.
Yeah,
That's
so-
why most people with positions before are frustrated now
Yeah,
because
so-
they got themselves used to the paraphernalia.
Exactly. So I walk on the streets. I don't have a problem with that. Every day I take my 10,000 steps. Yeah, and I do that.
Impressive.
I don't like using treadmills indoors. I take the fresh air outside. And I don't dress elaborately. If you see me with abada, I'm somewhere in Kano or Jigawa. And I like driving myself. I don't have a driver. So
Interesting.
yeah, so I think I have conquered life at that level, and that makes me very comfortable and happy. If I see the stuff people are struggling with, sometimes I just laugh, because I don't know really. Common sense is not common.
It is.
Yeah, but there are stuff that they are not worth. And titles, I don't have any title. It's just my medical degree. That one is statutory. So I'm not this of so kingdom.
Because you do not want them or...
Yeah, I don't like visibility.
Okay. Why?
I think it's a personality thing. Yeah, I think I don't like I like solitude. I like to be alone and reflect. That's my energy.
Okay, so what values guide your decisions when faced with difficult leadership decisions or choices?
Okay, so there's this consistent admonition that my political boss will always tell me. That's former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido. He would say, Nura, be yourself. So he told me that I have observed you for a while. I have seen your original self. You are not ambitious. You are not pretentious. You have self-discipline to an extent. So just whatever you are deciding, let these values
stick.
Whatever comes out of your heart is probably not ambitious, is probably disciplined. So you can take your decisions as they come from your mind, but mind you will make mistakes. Yeah, but it's better to make your own mistakes and learn than to be remote controlled and not to learn. That has guided me in the most difficult of terrains. Yeah.
Or leadership choices.
Yeah, that's okay. What do I feel in my heart? Well, this is it. Okay, are you sure? Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So you've served, learned, and led. What would you say has been your most defining moment so far? Whether in the medical career or in the appointee stage or your life after, I mean, after contesting and all of that. What's that one defining moment?
Defining moment, not challenging moment,
Yes,
right? Defining.
yeah.
So I would say my most defining moment naturally is my appointment as Minister of the Federal Republic. Yeah.
At 36.
34.
34?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was quite.
I'm 35 now.
So that was quite a defining moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a clinician from a hospital.
Of course.
Yeah, even at the hospital, you are not at the management level.
Level.
Exactly, you are just a clinician.
I shouldn't ask that question because I already know the defining moment.
So it was a defining moment, and I remember one of these encounter rather I had was a former Chief Justice of the FCT, Justice Gumi, who is now the Emir of Gumi in Zamfara State. When there was one of my brothers who were doing documentation for the screening process of the Senate. And he sat across me in his office and looked at me and told me that I will be representing 3 constituencies and I have to be very careful. I will be representing the young people. So my failure or success will be interpreted as failure of young people.
Person.
Like, who even brought this boy here? But if it's an old man who failed, nobody will say, who brings these old people here? Yeah, so he said, so you have to be very careful at that level. He said, and you are representing where you come from. Again, if you fail, they'll say, look at these people. They no go school.
Yes.
He told me that, and I cannot remember the third one. So those things stuck with me.
With you.
Yeah, that I cannot afford to make mistakes. People of the regular age will make and go scot-free, Mine will come at a great cost.
Yes, it will. If you were to describe your journey on one word, what would it be and why? One word.
One word? Wow. So I will describe it as unconventional.
Unconventional?
Yeah, I will describe it as unconventional because I started out as a medical doctor who conventionally now I should be heading towards a professorship in the university and the teaching hospital. Yeah, so
And diverted.
I diverted completely. I swapped, not even diverted.
No diversion, this is swapping.
Yeah, I swapped, and then I came to, I didn't only swap, I was not, it's beyond acceleration. It was like a projectile. So I was projected and I was ejected in the federal, at the highest level of the decision body. I've never sat in any decision-making body of any government organization. Now here I was at the highest level. And then instead of giving me the health portfolio, which would have been
your field.
So I was taken to foreign affairs, no training, no experience.
And you did well.
Yeah, so that's quite unconventional. And then when opportunities came to give me another responsibility, I ended up information again. Yeah, so that's kind of unconventional. And despite my reluctance to be active in politics, I happen to have contested 2 elections so far within the last 10 years. I have gone back to school in 2024 to 2025. I went back to class and sat down with 20-year-olds. So I think it's quite
unconventional. I agree, and I'm sure the viewers too would agree. Now let's go to a quick rapid fire. It's called Quick One with Dr. Nurudden. So it's a question of yes or no, which will you choose? So let's start with this one. Are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a night person, but I'm changing that because I think it's laziness. It's not.
Okay. So you are changing from morning person to a night person.
From night person to
night
morning
thinker to a morning person. Morning person. Well, it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Books or travel?
Books, certainly. I don't like traveling.
One word your colleagues would use to describe you.
One is seated right here across. Some of them say I'm a chameleon.
Chameleon. Oh my God. Let's see what that is. Chameleon. So I'm afraid anyway. Your favorite quote or philosophy of life?
The unexamined life is not worth living.
One leader, Nigerian or global person you deeply admire?
Mahathir Mohamad.
Okay. The best advice you've ever received from anyone?
Nura, be yourself. Sulalamido.
Well, I know that. I already got that before now. One thing you'd still love to achieve before retirement, if there is anything like that?
Before retirement? I'm retired.
Yes, but then the thing is,
I'm not.
you're retired in some
So,
ramifications.
okay, so
you're
now,
not retired in politics,
so
right?
okay, so retired in life,
In
right?
life, yeah.
What one thing I want to say?
Yes. You want to achieve before retirement?
Personal goal.
Yeah, personal.
Wow. Personal goal. So I'm very careful with setting personal goals. Yeah. Because I have ticked most of my goals.
Boxes.
Yeah, I have done that. So now it's not beyond family things and public, how you want the society to look like in your lifetime, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
If you've got one thing to fix in Nigeria, what would it be?
Security.
Security.
Short term, long term education.
Long-term. Okay, long-term education,
Yeah.
short-term security.
But if you give me Nigeria today, I would clear my table and call all the security files. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lovely one. What makes you hopeful about the future?
Hopeful. Yeah, I believe Almighty God created us. So despite our problems, He has not abandoned us. He can't abandon us, and He will sort us out. That's
So,
hope.
leadership in one remark.
Empathy.
Empathy. That's a lot. Many thanks for joining us on Ascend, Dr. Nurudden. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, wisdom, and your whole self with us in this short session. Your story reminds us that leadership is not about position, it's about purpose, service, and vision. And to our viewers, thank you for watching Ascend on S24 television, where we spotlight the voices shaping our future. I am Halima Abdul-Rauf, and until next time, thank you again, and Doctor, for joining us. We look forward to doing multiple things.
Thank you. Thank you, Halima.
Thank you so much. And bye for now.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.